Nigeria, like all other rice-consuming nations, has experienced a surge in domestic demand for rice as her population increases. As a result, rice has become a staple dietary food in most households in Nigeria. The annual consumption of milled rice in Nigeria increased from 0.4 million metric tons in 1960 to approximately 5.2 metric tons in 2013. Reflecting an annual average growth rate of 7.2%. The increase in demand for rice in Nigeria since 1970 has not been accompanied by a sizable increase in local rice production, resulting in the widening of the local supply-demand deficit. Consequently, the annual increase in local rice production is lagging behind the annual increase in local demand. This slow growth in local rice production has widened the gap between local supply and demand for rice in Nigeria, meaning that self-sufficiency ratio in terms of local production is continuously declining. Our visit to Ondo State in the western part of Nigeria gives an appraisal of the physical state of rice production and the challenges local rice farmers face.
To achieve food security in Nigeria, a lot of things has to be put in place. One, we have to think about the farmers themselves. What are the conditions? How do they live? If you want to think of how the farmers live, how do they go about their business? Do they have enough money to put into this business? Are they doing the business in the modern way? Do they have the techniques? When we put all this into consideration and we're able to provide a solution into it, you know that food security will not be a problem in this country. For example, the herdsmen attack. What are the solutions towards it? We need to consider that. Like there was drought in some states last year. What are the solutions to this problem? So that it will not occur, so that it will not hinder the farmers from producing food. All these things, by the time we think of all these things, you know, the problems of farming will be resolved. Also, the financial implication of farming, the money required to go into a specific product or specific crops we want to produce. If the farmers are not having it, where do they get money? What will be the role of the government? If by the time all these things are being met and being carried out, a solution will be provided for all these things, you know, there will be the problems of food security will be resolved in totality. By the time you give farmers, even if you are not giving them the cash, give them in kind. When they have all that they needed in carrying out their production, you know, the problem will be resolved. So there are a lot of things to be done if you want to put an end to farming problems, especially in this part of the country, which is Ondo State.
I need money. The little one that I'm doing is my money. It's the only money that I have. That is the money that I'm doing 2 acres of land every year. Realize 7.5 tons every year in 2 acres of land. We want governments to loan us money. When they give us money, we will be able to expand our work, our production. So we have money and seed. we need good seed, and as we need equipment to be planting this rice. We plant it in a two-way. Some people cast their rice, where some people nurse their rice. But if you look at it, to nurse rice is very good. It will yield, it will bring more seed than casting. But it's very difficult for us the time of planting it one by one. Maybe they can have something for us that it can be able to be planting the rice planter that we will be using to plant the rice.
After the planting, we expect rain to fall that day. But when the rain is season to fall, we make sure that we go to drip irrigation system. We set out our water pump and the hose. We make sure that we wet the rice. But we now wet it before the 5 days, it started sprouts. From there, the rice can be germinate at the accurate time we expecting it. But while other people, before they plant their rice, they make sure that they study the weather. They study the weather so that the time the rain is going to fall, maybe they study the weather, maybe the rain is going to fall today or tomorrow. They now come to the farm to broadcast the rice, that the rain will now fall, so that the rice started germinating.
In recent times, insufficient local rice production has emerged as a significant food security issue. Several strategies sought to boost local production, increase food security, and diversify Nigeria's economy has produced mixed results. Rice remains an important agricultural commodity that needs to draw the attention of government and policymakers to its impact on both domestic and international markets for the well-being and development of the nation.
We have a lot of programs being carried out by the government, and the farmers have benefited tremendously. Like the outgrowers, the government has some farmers, we call them outgrowers. The government will provide, the farmers will provide land, while government will provide the seeds and the money required to carry out this production. It may be on maize, cassava, rice, or yam. And by the time it's done, the government will buy back from them. So that they are using that to encourage the farmers. So when they buy back, most of the time, they always buy at a higher price than the prevailing price from the farmers. And from there, farmers will be encouraged to do more. Okay. We have the Youth in Agriculture program in those states. Youths, undergraduates, are being encouraged to go into farming. The government prepares land, does everything, and at the end of the day, hand over to the youths to maintain. They will give them their portion to maintain. And after harvesting, government will also buy back from them. And sometimes they will tell them, if you should see a higher buyer, you can sell and refund the money, just to encourage the youths and those farmers that needed some help. We also have the one called Anchor Borrowers Program. This Anchor Borrower Program is between the Central Bank and NISA. By the time farmers come together, it may be on rice, it may be on cocoa or any other crop. The government will finance. They give them loan, that is, they give them money to do and some items needed. By the time they give to them, after the planting season, we have people whom we call the off-takers, those who will buy from them. It may be companies, it may be individuals, but that has the capacity to off-take the total production of whatever those farmers produce, so that marketing will not be a problem to them. Well, the government has been doing that, and some farmers have been benefiting. Even soft loan are being given to some farmers in Ondo State to carry out their farming activities.
The inability of the rice subsector to produce enough rice for local consumption is attributed to the neglect of the subsector over the years by government. However, the federal government of Nigeria initiated policies between 2011 and 2013 to intervene in the agricultural sector in general and the rice subsector in particular. Rice subsector policies were formulated in order to reduce the dependence on international rice market to meet local rice demand. Rice subsector policies are targeted at removing constraints to increase productive efficiency facing the local rice industry. These constraints include inadequacy and high price of inputs such as fertilizer, rice seeds, herbicides, insecticides, poor access to farm credit, land extension services, poor rural infrastructure, and irrigation facilities. Market failure in local paddy rice markets and high rice milling costs.
There is no fund. Government want to see you see in developed countries, their government support agriculture very, very well. They don't mind how much they put in. So, but here we are still playing lip services. So, and you see, and you know, farming work is not a business of buy and selling. You buy in the morning before in the evening, or within 1 week you sell. Then you know either you make profit or you lose. But in farming, it takes time. It endures. It's a business that endures, except with arable crops, which will take about 3 months, 4 months, maximum 1 year to complete its life cycle, and you begin to see. So that is then another syndrome with us in Nigeria. In this part, is that all of us are educated, and the syndrome is that you believe when you are educated you have to work in the office, and it does not follow. It doesn't work like that. So in developed countries, we know less than 10-15% of their population are engaged in farming. But here, 70% of us, but what are we doing? So there's no big time farmer as such. We have less than 1 hectare, homestead, sustainable, what you and your people will eat. But it's beyond that level now. If you know the foreign earnings that is accrued from the rice production, we need to be serious.
One of the challenges encountered by rice processors in Nigeria are to find appropriate solutions for quality rice processing. Rice processing involves several steps: removal of the husk, milling the shelled, and an additional whitening step to meet market expectations for appearance of the rice kernels.
Shaft has been removed. The rice bran has been removed, unlike when it was raw, when it cannot be consumed. But this cannot be consumed. We may still find some pebbles, stones, because it cannot be the stone. That is why it moves to the next stage, which is what you have here now. All these ones are being removed from the former one. You see rice and this is mixed together, but it separates. It removes the dirt. It makes it to a final stage. By the time we put this inside this machine now, we get all of this removed. And after leaving this stage, it comes to the stoning stage. This is a destoner. No rice is grown with stone. It is during processing that the stones comes in. During boiling or drying period, stones may come in. But for us to have a pure rice that is stone free, it needs to be destoned. And this is the destoner. When you destone, it removes all the stones in totality. Then you have a free and consumable rice. Really, rice process Rice in Nigeria, in any part of the world, is still the same rice. It is processing that makes the difference. But now that we are advancing, we are having all this equipment, we can compete with any part of the world if we are being encouraged.
This process generated several streams of material, which include the husk, the bran, and the milled rice kernel. Nigeria has the potential to be self-sufficient in rice production, both for food and for export purpose. However, a number of constraints have been identified as limiting factors to rice production. The labor intensity involved, such as plowing, planting, weeding, harvesting, threshing, and transportation, being strenuous and laborious. The problem is worsened by lack of appropriate rice farming tools, implementation, and equipment. Besides this, the equipment available is often too expensive for the average farmer. Most farmers depend on rudimentary labor and time-consuming hard tools such as hoes, sickles, axe, and rakes for various farm operations.
Mechanization, because the issue of planting 1, 2, 3 hectares cannot solve our problems. We need to expand the activities on the field. And how do we expand? We need tractors, machineries on the field that will help the farmer to expand the scope. You know, after land preparation, you need to plant. There are machines that can plant. There are machines that can transplant, that can pump water into the soil if there's drought. Then the harvesting stage, there's machine that will do that. If machine can do all those things, then from the feed now you go to the processing shed. Then if it is fully mechanized, fully automated, you will not see stone. Stone is the major problem we are having. Some darts or so many things, no machine to pick it for now. We have, but it's not enough. So if government can come and buy those machineries in something and give it to the farmers at reduced price, or assisting them to spread the payment, the payment of that something, if they spread it for 3, 4, 5 years, farmer will be able to pay back. But farmer cannot, I don't know, except it's somebody who want to really go into business. I want to buy all those things, and rice has a value chain, so you don't expect the person that is producing to go to the mill, to go and be doing that.
Daleko Market is the chain distribution hub of both local and foreign rice in Lagos State. On our visit to Daleko Market, the traders gave their thoughts.
The challenges in the business for those who are already there and for those who are just coming in. The first thing is capital. That's for every business. This business is capital intensive. It involves a huge bulk of money to start with. And that is if you are starting a little big. And the challenges therein, apart from capital, is the influx of foreign rice, the ban on foreign rice. It is supposed to improve the production and the sales and also the consumption of local Nigerian rice. But as it is, because of the smuggling of foreign rice, it is affecting the production, sales, and production, sales, and consumption. At first, when a ban was placed on foreign rice, Nigerians were slow to accept our brand because most of the rice then, they were poorly produced. They contains stones and shafts. But over the years, they have really improved. They have improved. And what we have now, we have rice that can compete favorably with the foreign rice, good ones. In fact, rice that are locally made, to me, are better. That at first Nigerians didn't accept our local rice, but at the point when the local rice became so good that they felt there's no need going for foreign rice. So as it is, from my knowledge, the patronage should be around 60% now. 60% of Nigerians go for locally made rice. Most of the rice we have now, they are of good product, good quality. And the number two they can do, which I think is paramount to every Nigerian, is pricing. So when we started with local rice, the most expensive of them all was 14,000 or thereabout. But all of a sudden, and in Nigeria, what goes up, especially price on products, doesn't come down. It doesn't. So I wouldn't know why the price is high. But if you would ask the producers, they will tell you it's raw materials. It's transportation, as in haulage, bringing them, fuel increase, blah, blah, blah. They will find something to tie up, associate with it and say, okay, this is why there's increase in price. But if the government can regulate price, but I don't think it can work. If it is in a central climb where you have, the government have provided everything necessary for the producers, such as good roads, such as power, electricity. So for a producer that generates his or her own electricity by himself, you can't regulate his price. You can't tell him how much he will sell, because there's cost for diesel, there's cost for generator, the wear and tear and everything. So if government can come in, regulate the price, to me, the highest of the rice shouldn't be more than 10,000 naira. Then we can have others at 8, 7, 5. Foreign rice should be banned outrightly to promote our own. When we produce rice locally, it does so many things to our economy. There will be job creation, employment for the youth, and every nation needs agriculture. Agriculture in every nation is something the government should invest in. I would say they should put ban on foreign rice so that we can grow our own. Like I told you earlier, if we should grow our own, it will take us probably 2 to 3 years, then we'll get it right. For the first 2 years, we might be struggling to get it right. But by the 3rd, 4th year, by then many people would have invested in agriculture, the government will help too, and before you know it, we are there. Olamide Olotu is my name, a rice dealer in Daliko International Market, Mushin, Lagos.
This is Mama Choice, 50 kg. We used to sell it before, 17,000, but now it's 22,000 now. This one is 22,000 now. This is Umza Plastic. We are selling it, okay, we are selling it 22,000 now. Before it's 21,000 naira. This is Big Boo. We were selling it before 21,000. Now it's 24,000 naira. So we are selling this one, 18,000, but now it's 24,000 naira because of Nigeria stuff. People complain about Nigerian rice because of the price. Because foreign, they are selling foreign now, 22,000 naira. And they are also selling Nigerian rice 22,000 naira. So Nigerian rice is okay now, fine, and it's white, swell up and it's okay now. People is buying it and it's moving from markets now. Packaging is okay, everything is okay. My name is Mujisola. I'm working as sales rep at Omilabu, Daliko here.
Every farming season in Nigeria, rice farmers face risks such as low rainfall, price volatility, rising debt, and poor government policies. But the present risk from the COVID-19 pandemic has presented a new challenge on rice value chain, already under serious threat. Recent crisis between the cattle herders and rice farmers in Nigeria is built on an age-long contest over space and resources. These clashes are largely provoked by the ownership and utilization of available land, water resources, and vegetal resources. Today, the inharmonious relationship between nomadic herders and sedentary agrarian communities in Nigeria has become very fierce and increasingly widespread, mutating into greater security threat, resulting in a colossal destruction of lives, property, and stagnation of development which should be checked.
The major challenge as of now is herdsmen attack. They go to your farm overnight and destroy it. That is the major problem as such today.
The solution, however, lies in the provision of incentives, machineries, and government policies to confront the challenges faced by rice processors. Nigeria has a good climate for rice production, and it has favorable market to absorb the production. There is need to improve the quality of indigenous rice to compete with foreign rice through selection and adaptation of modern rice technologies to ease labor in production and enhance nutritional qualities in rice processing and production. Government has role to play in forming strong policies that will favor production of local rice as it is being practiced in the advanced world. Deliberate attempt must be made by government to improve its agricultural base, and subsidies should be provided, particularly in rice production, not only as a substitute for its importation and domestic use, but for export as well. This will go a long way in increasing foreign earnings, which can be replicated to complement the country's economic growth and development.